Hi friends, this is Suzy, your Candy Crush guru. It is June 8th, 2023, and I am here to talk about the Candy Cup Summer Edition in Candy Crush Saga. If you find these videos helpful, I'd ask that you consider liking and subscribing. Okay, so what I want to do is go through all the details of the Candy Cup event, and then also give you my impressions and my intentions for this event. If we open this, we don't get a lot of information for the first couple screens. This one basically just shows us what the big prize is. 30 party poppers. That's kind of awesome. Not as great as the winter edition. But 30 party poppers is nice. I'm just always going to want to warn people, don't invest more than what you're getting back. Especially if you spend money on this game. I don't spend money, but I do spend time earning boosters. I don't want to give up a whole bunch of boosters for just a chance at the big reward. I have to weigh my risks and rewards. What am I giving up and what am I getting back? And how likely am I to get that? So just evaluate that for yourselves, please. Now let's see how hard it's likely going to be to get from here to there. If we go to this information screen, again, not much information. As a matter of fact, it's a bit misleading. It says reach the top position in each round to get to the final. Sometimes it's not just the top, and we'll take a look at that more closely in the terms and conditions. I've gone through a lot of the information and I want to give you what's important. This is not important because we're going to see more of this information drawn out better down here. So here is the schedule. I'm not going to pause here, but you can always hit the pause button and take a look at when things start. What I want to point out though is each of the stages ends at 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I don't like that. That's my impression. I really hate that people either have to stay up super late or wake up early to try to secure their spots. So when I approach this, I'm going to go ahead and try to play, but I'm not going to be terribly disappointed if I get a good night's sleep and wake up and find that somebody overtook me in the middle of the night. Sleep is more important to me. I will value that sleep more than I will value any boosters that I would get from these qualifiers. Now, I do know that means that I might not make it into the next round. I'm willing to risk that as well. Because this is a long event. It starts today, and I'll catch the last part of the schedule in case you want to pause and jot things down. But this doesn't end until July 2nd at 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then once you win, you have to show up the following day to claim your prize. All right, so let's take a look at some of the more specific details of these events. So the rules talk about groups and objectives. For the qualifier stage, players will be randomly put into groups of 10 players. The top 5 players in each group who match the most special candies will win in-game rewards and a place in the next tournament stage. So, you'll probably get a switch hand, a lollyhammer, probably a color bomb, something like that, based on where you land on the leaderboard. But the leaderboard only has 10 people. So this looks like a really good one to try to play because you might get some boosters for not all that much work. And if you follow my advice, you won't start until closer to the end because you want to be put in with a group of slackers. Now that has its risks as well, but remember, I'm willing to absorb those risks. So that's one of the stages. If we make it through to there, we go to the quarterfinal stage. If we don't make it, we can do the wild card and you can look at that information. But generally in the wild card stage, it's going to be harder. It's going to be fewer days, which is nice, but you have to make it into the very top slot in order to advance. So from here we go to the quarterfinal stage. We will be randomly put into groups of 20 players. But again, you can't be put into a group until you start. And if you wait and start towards the end, then you'll probably be put into a group of people who don't play on a regular basis. Just my advice. I've done it before and it's worked. It doesn't mean that King won't change things around and make it so it doesn't work, but it has worked for me in the past. Here you have to be in one of the top 3 slots in order to advance. And then for the semifinal stage, you're in a larger group, but you still have to be one of the top 3 players in order to advance. And this is the tricky one. For the final stage, players will be evenly distributed across 10,000 final stage leaderboards. So there are just going to be 10,000 leaderboards. Doesn't matter if there are 10,000 entrants, then you'd each, get in the top spot, or 100 million. They're only going to put up 10,000 leaderboards. And this is the first time they've announced how many leaderboards there are going to be in such direct terms. It says the top 1 player per leaderboard will be a winner and be awarded with a grand prize and be crowned a Candy Crush Saga. This is not literal. This is figurative. You're not actually crowned a Candy Crush Saga Candy Cup Summer Champion. Those who reach the top 5 but do not win will also receive some in-game rewards. So you might be able to win some boosters. Remember, if you're playing and using 120 boosters to get 4 boosters, that's not really a wise decision. But I don't want to deter you from playing. If you want to compete, you just have to know what is in your future. Wildcard stages are composed of 1 round. Players who have played in a qualifying quarterfinal or semifinal stage but did not qualify for the next stage will be placed in groups of 30. To progress to the next stage, you must finish in first place on your leaderboard. Finishing top in your leaderboard will see you progress to the next stage of the contest. Notice it doesn't tell you anything about any prizes. Oftentimes they give prizes, though. For the final stage, each player who places top of the leaderboard will receive 30 party boosters and be crowned a Candy Crush Saga Candy Cup Summer Champion. In order to claim their reward, winners will need to log into the game between Sunday the 2nd of July at 3 a.m. Eastern until Monday the 3rd of July. So you have only a 24-hour period to claim that prize. That's pretty tricky. And it says, be aware, each group must have the requisite number of people in order to be assigned to a group. It is important to be punctual. By entering the game as soon as possible, once the event has started, you will be more likely to be assigned to a group and can start playing earlier. Yes, that's true, but you're also going to be against more competitive people. They have used this caveat before, and I thought, well, I'm going to chance it and get in, and I probably won't get put into a group. And then I got put into a group and it had just a few people in it and it didn't have the requisite number, and they still let me advance. So again, they could change things, but I've been successful with this. It also says you can play offline, but your points will not increase until you log in. Once you get online again, any green trophy candies that have been matched while offline will get synced. It is recommended that you play online where possible so that your points can sync in the applicable time frame per stage. If you go online to update your points outside of the scheduled time frame per stage, they will not count and you may not qualify for the next stage. So a lot of people wonder, they're playing and they're playing and they're playing and they're, 20,000 green trophies ahead of the next person. And then all of a sudden in 3 seconds, they finish the game, the level they're playing, and somebody jumps in and now is 20,000 points ahead of them. It could be that person is playing offline. I'm not saying that nobody cheats in this game, but there are ways to get a whole bunch of points really quickly without cheating, and that is one of them. Now, also we need to talk about green candies, because some of us know that they have mixed up the colors on a lot of these levels. I would normally go to level 3309. I can't, because 3309 now has blue and orange candies. Really frustrating. So it's going to be hard to find those levels that work really well. And we also have to look to see, are we going to get a multiplier for playing new levels? So those are my general impressions of the game, of this particular event. Now what I want to do is go against my own advice and jump in right away. Because here's my intention. I don't plan to make it all the way through the final, because I just think staying up so late isn't really a healthy thing for me. But I might. It depends on how easy it is and if I can really tease the system by jumping in late and still making it into the position that I want. I might do that, especially because I'm doing this not for me but for you. I have party poppers. I don't use party poppers very often because I like to play without boosters in deference to people who don't have boosters to use. My needs are completely different to the average player. My need is I want to, inform you as much as possible. So I actually do want to play a lot and get as far as I can so I can keep you updated about how things are going. But I'm also not going to sacrifice my health for it. So that's where I stand. Let me go ahead and jump in with this level. I will pause the recording and come back after I've won it, and we can see if we get a qualifier, like a times 10, not qualifier, multiplier for beating new levels. Because, if I play an old level and I get 100, I get 100. But if I play a new level and I get a times 10 multiplier, that 100 turns into 1,000 green. So we want to see what we're doing. Sometimes, even if we get a multiplier, it doesn't show up for me on my first attempt. So I'll probably actually play this twice and then come back and show you, or play 2 levels. Yeah, I better stop and just pause now because I'm running out of steam and I need some coffee and I need to play this level, and I'll meet you in just a minute to see how we did. Whether or not we get that multiplier. So 50, there's no multiplier, but I'm going to go ahead and play again and I'll be right back. All right, so let's take a look here to see what happens. Times 30 multiplier. So see how the first time I didn't get any multiplier and then I got a times 30? So new levels that you've never played before give you better results. And I went from being really low in the leaderboard to up high in the leaderboard. And it looks like this is the reward system. Biggest trophy box, treasure box, is for the first person, then the second person, then the third person. And then these, from my experience, usually just contain a color bomb. I could be wrong, but the most important thing for a lot of people is that it contains a ticket. All right, so 86 hours to go on just this qualifier round. It's going to be a while. And yeah, I'm probably going to be with people who are going to shoot way high up there, and I'm just going to let them. I'm not going to worry too much. That is it for me. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to put those below. I know that there's going to be probably a lot of excitement around this, and I'm not trying to quash anyone's excitement. I'm just saying, evaluate what your needs are, what your motivation is, what your resources are in time and boosters and effort, and see if this is a good thing for you. And even if you just want to play the first few rounds and then just go, oh, okay, well, I lost. If you lose going into, the quarterfinal or the semifinal or the final, I would say take it lightly on this one. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.